Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be working on this Mk1 Tiguan. This is a 2011. It was offered between the years of 2009 and 2018. What I'm going to be doing today is removing the rear sunroof glass. This is a panoramic sunroof. The reason I'm removing it is to clean the sunroof tracks. A couple other reasons you would want to remove it is to replace the sunroof track entirely, or to remove and replace the sunshade. Other than that, there's really no other reason to remove this glass. So let's get started. As far as tools that I'm going to need today, I have a headband flashlight. That really helps because that tinted sunroof glass, it makes things really hard to see, especially with black screws. I have a 90-degree pick just to pull the seal down a little bit so that I can get to the screw. And then I have a Torx T25. As far as your setup, it may vary, but I have a snap-on socket that's built into the T25, and then I have an extension with a ratchet. Once I break them loose, I'm going to use my screwdriver gun just to zip them out real quick. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to turn the key on, and then you're going to want to open the sunshade, and then open the sunroof. And once the sunroof is open, you can actually open it a little bit more by holding the switch. Okay, so there's going to be a total of 6 screws. There's going to be 3 on the passenger side and 3 on the driver's side. 1 from the outside and 2 from the inside. So first thing you want to do is take this one out. And your socket might be at an angle just a little bit. So just push down, keep pressure on it, and then loosen it up. And then once you have that bolt out, there's going to be 2 washers right here. You just want to make sure that you keep track of those. You don't want to forget about them and let them fall down in the track. So what I do is I take the inside bolts out, and then once I take the glass out, I just make sure that I keep the washers with the bolts. And the same thing on the driver's side. Now what I like to do is I like to fold the seats down until they click. That way I can just put my feet facing towards the back, and then it just makes it easy to sit down and actually perform the job. So since I can't wear the headband flashlight right now because I have my camera on my head, what I did is I just took my pen flashlight and I just kind of wedged it up in there, and it's actually facing at the perfect location. So if you have something like that, that'll definitely work. Alright, so I'm looking at the passenger side. There's going to be 1 bolt right here and 1 bolt right here. So what I like to do is I like to take my 90-degree pick, and I don't want to poke a hole in it, but I just use it to pull the seal down a little bit. And right there you can see the screw or the bolt. So I'll just take my ratchet, and I'll just go ahead and loosen that up. I've already broke them loose with my ratchet, but I'll just throw my gun up in there. And then get them loose. And it's okay if they fall out down into the track, because once you get the glass out, you'll have no problem, fishing those out. And then I'll just move over to the next one and do the same thing. Alright. And then the process for the other side is the exact same. So go ahead and take the other side out. So now that the glass is loose, I'll just take my 90-degree pick again, and I'll just pull out those washers I was talking about that are up top. And I'll go ahead and do that for both sides. The next step is to turn the key on again, and then go ahead and close the sunroof. And once the sunroof is fully closed, you just want to click the switch right here, and it'll put it in the vent position. Go ahead and turn the car off. Okay, and to the scary part. This is scary for some people because you're actually taking the glass out. So what I do is I have both doors open, and then I'll reach my hand up and I'll just push up on the glass a little bit to get it out of the track, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. And once it's up like that, if you feel uncomfortable, you can always grab somebody, and what you'll do is you'll just both pick it up and then just walk towards the back. You might want to remove the antenna before you do that, but yeah, just take it and walk towards the back. You don't have to do it that way. You can definitely do it by yourself, but if you're uncomfortable, grab a friend. So what I'll do is I'll just, step on the sill right here, and then come up top and just get my fingers in there. And pick it up. And then just be very careful stepping down. And that's it. So I'll just take the glass and I'll just lay it down somewhere safe where I know somebody's not going to step on it or knock it over. All right, and then those screws that fell down in, one's right there and the other's right there. So you'll just have to take your pick and, kind of fish those out of there. You can also take a magnet if you have one, and it'll pick them right up. So just looking at all the hardware, all the short bolts are the bolts that are for the interior, and the long bolts with the washers are the front bolts. This frame right here that my thumb is on needs to go on the inside of these two brackets right here. That way when you put the bolts in, it'll sandwich in between the bracket. Now it can be kind of tricky when you lay the glass down to get the frame on the inside of these brackets. You kind of just have to play with it a little bit until it falls in place on both sides. All right, I've laid my glass down. It is in between the brackets like it should be. Next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and turn the key on. And then I will open the sunroof without the bolts put into the glass yet. And then I'll open it all the way and turn the key off. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take my two washers and I'll just lift up on the glass underneath right here just a little bit, and I'll put the washers underneath and line them up. I might need to use my pick just to line them up with the hole. And once it's lined up pretty good, I'll just take my bolt and feed it in by finger. Just until it gets a little bit snug. And then I'll go ahead and I'll go do the same thing on the other side. All right, go ahead and turn your key back on. And then close the sunroof. What this will do is it'll help center the glass, and it'll make sure everything's kind of in place. Go ahead and turn the key off. Okay, so the next step is to put the interior screws back in. This part can be a little bit frustrating. If you find yourself getting frustrated, take a 30-minute break. There's no shame in that. So you'll just, pull the seal down. And you want to be careful not to drop the screw down behind the seal, because you might have to get a magnet and fish it out, and it's kind of a pain. So, you just want to get the hole lined up. And to get the hole lined up, you might have to push up on the glass, or from the outside push down on the glass. That can be part of the frustrating point or part. So you just want to take your extension with your socket, and once the hole's lined up, just very carefully get it into the hole, and then just start turning it by hand. Okay, so I've got the first one in. You don't want to tighten it down all the way because you want to get them all in before you actually adjust the glass and tighten it down. So I'll go ahead and do the remaining 3, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so the next thing that you want to focus on is the adjustment of the glass. Now, you don't need to get a measuring tape out or anything like that. It's kind of just an eyeball thing. But what you want is you want the glass about 1 millimeter higher than the body of the car. And what this is going to do is this is going to reduce possible wind noise. If you have the glass lower than the body of the car, it's going to hit that lip right there and it can cause wind noise. So you just want the glass a little bit higher so the wind just, you know, flows over the body. Okay, so the torquing sequence that I like to use is I do the back ones first, and then I do the front ones, and then I do the middle one last. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just set my ratchet up and the seal will kind of hold it right there. And what I'll do is I'll step outside the vehicle and I'll press up on the glass to get it where I want it. And then I'll just reach in with my other hand and, you know, snug it down. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. And then after I do that, I'll go to the front, tighten the front ones down, and then come inside and tighten the middle ones down. Okay, so from my point of view, that looks pretty good. I'm pressing up on the glass, and then I'm just snugging up that back bolt with my other hand. All right, and then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Go ahead and turn the car back on. Open the sunroof again. Open it all the way. And turn the key off. Go ahead and tighten both of the front bolts. And I don't know the torque spec off the top of my head, but I want to say it's 8 Newton meters. But don't take my word for it. I can't remember off the top of my head. Go ahead and get the other side. Turn the key on. Close the sunroof. And turn the key off. All right, go ahead and tighten the middle bolts and then just recheck the back ones and you're basically done. Pretty snug. Recheck the back ones. And that's it. Once they're all tightened up, I'll just press the seal, make sure it's back in its place. Go ahead and do that on both sides. And that's basically it, you guys. What I'll do is I might cycle the sunroof a couple times just to make sure nothing's binding, nothing's out of place. I'll go ahead and clean off the glass with some glass cleaner and close the sunshade, close the sunroof. Yeah, that's it. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. You know, like, share, subscribe, leave me some comments. and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.